Ciao, this is Davide Biocchi speaking, and this is my weekly intermarket analysis. As sometimes it's good to do, could be positive to change the time frame and to switch to weekly chart instead of daily charts. This can help having a more, let's say, a more far view, something like a landscape, just to understand where we are and why. For example, this is the euro dollar, and as we can appreciate, as we can see, on a weekly basis, we are right now on a very interesting support, this area around 1.075 to 1.065 to 1.07. But really relevant is to observe that this is happening after 10 weeks of continued downtrend for the euro. So this is quite interesting to see. And that's why it's very relevant to maintain this support. Otherwise, the next target could be 1.05 below here. So another interesting things to look at. Let's also switch to have a look at other asset classes like the crude oil. Commodities here is really interesting to see that the real area that we can assume as a main target is this area around 93. The price recently already tested this level, but the market is consolidating the price below here. There's a strong interest, especially from Saudi Arabia, to maintain the price of the crude oil higher than possible. So maybe in the future we can even see the market above this price. Until now, as I told, the market is consolidating. So let's see the next trend, which let's say, which direction will take. Obviously, above this level, probably the market can be attracted as a magnet by the area of $100 per barrel. That is obviously rounded prices. Otherwise, the main support here is the area around $82, $83 per barrel. That can work as a support. Another interesting thing. Let's switch to another commodity really important, that is the gold. So the gold was moving for a long time in between the level of let's say 1980 to 2060, with let's say a spike at 2080 that is the all-time high. Recently the market remained for a long time in the area that we can assume as the $100 in between 1900 to 2000. If we go in more details, mainly the market remained in between 1910 to 15 to 1980. So even if sometimes it happened that there was a spike here and another one here. So this is what is going through. The market is not attracted in this period by commodities in general. Not only the gold, but also the copper, the silver, the natural gas. The market is not attracted by them. The market is more attracted by the currencies paid, like the euro dollar, the Japanese yen, and then is attracted by stocks and bonds situation that are very relevant and interesting. So that's why this is quite flat. As we can see on the weekly basis, the last 3 weeks all around the same price with very low volatility. Let's switch immediately after to the stock indices, and let's start with the European one. So as we can see and as we can appreciate, there's a dangerous movement that can make the market like the German DAX to go below the support. This support is working quite since the beginning of this year, a little bit later. And so there's a very important, because there was a spike here that was dated when the regional banks in US had problems. Then the market reacted, went above this level and remained for weeks and months, okay? And right now is going below. So this level, the next one here, is the one that can work as a support, exactly as it happened in March. But it's quite far, so that's why this is really a very important situation. Something very similar is what is happening on the Euro Stock 50. As we have seen, the last close was the lowest one in the period. The level is 4,200. That is a very important level. So let's see what is going to happen, because it is really dangerous. Despite the fact if we look at futures, we have futures that still maintain a price above 4,200, and this is because the new contract gained some 50 points, but the real price of index is below. So it's really interesting to look at this and to see what is going to happen. Then finally, let's stay on the US indices and let's start with the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq was not yet at the minimum, at the level that we have seen in half of August. It's really a little bit above it, but it's dangerous. So this price is the top that we have reached, the spike of July that we can assume as a main resistance. This one here is the down spike of half of August, and again a market below here will mean, let's say, a very weak situation for what concerning the stock indices. Something that is not yet reality for the Nasdaq, but it's very close to become reality for the S&P 500. The S&P 500, as we can see here, went below this level, and this is quite important because with the market below, the next target is probably that area around 4,200 that for many months, let's say, was able to reject any attempt of a market to go up. So this is very important, and let's see what is going to happen, because this movement can be accelerating, it can be fast, but it depends from this week that will be decisive in this sense. So let's say that this is really interesting, and especially this time to have a look from the weekly perspective can help us having a more clear idea. This is all for this week. Thank you very much. See you soon. Ciao from Italy. Bye-bye.